So one of the first things that's really great to do when you're on your foam roller is start to relax your shoulders. And I'm going to show you now a couple of shoulder exercises that you can work on to help you relax your shoulders on many different planes. And we'll start with scapular reaches. You may be familiar with this from a mat class, but because you're elevated on your foam roller, you're able to get a greater range of movement and therefore get a better stretch. So for scapular reaches, you just reach your arms up in front of you and then rotate your palms towards your face as you reach your fingertips towards the ceiling, and then bring them so they're facing each other as you let your shoulder blades wrap around the foam roller. So you just bring your shoulder blades up and back down. And it just helps you loosen things up, and remember to keep your shoulder blades low and relaxed as you go throughout some other exercises. So always do a couple of these, they feel really good. Another arm exercise you can do with your foam roller is a version of ribcage arms, but on your foam roller. So just as always, you inhale and exhale to let your arms fall right next to your ears, keeping your ribcage from popping up by co-contracting, and then exhaling to bring your arms back. Inhale here and exhale to let your arms fall next to your ears. Inhale again, and then exhale back up. Super simple, except that you have to engage your core as you let your arms fall next to your ears, otherwise your back is going to arch and your rib cage is going to pop up. So you have to imagine that as you're doing these exercises, you have these imaginary rubber bands that are very taut between your bottom rib and your hip bones. So as you exhale, you're co-contracting and keeping your muscles very tight. So yeah, you're relaxing your shoulder muscles, but you're also getting some really nice abdominal work. It's a good exercise. Another nice arm exercise for your shoulders to do on a foam roller, or really on a mat too, is to just reach one shoulder blade up and then drop back down. Reach it up and drop back down. And just doing one, the other, alternating. It just feels kind of good. If you're tired of just messing around with your arms, waving them in the air, whatever, it's too simple for you, then it's good to start bringing your legs into the equation. So there's one thing you can do, which is a progression to tabletop, but also a sort of modified ribcage arm, and great abs exercise that I love to do because there's a lot of different components, and it's just a good next step after you're a little bit warmed up. So what you do is bring your arms so they're reaching towards the ceiling, and then you have to co-contract to do this exercise, or you'll find that you're going to roll off from one side to another. You're just going to get really unstable. But from your arms in this position, you're going to inhale and exhale, co-contract, so you stay solid as you lift one leg into tabletop and let the other arm fall into ribcage arms. So what you're doing here is bringing your body to just one anchor point on the mat, which means you really have to focus on your co-contraction to keep yourself from sliding off your foam roller, which is probably going to happen the first couple of times you try this exercise. You're also relaxing your shoulder muscles a little bit by doing this little version of ribcage arms. And you're warming up your legs and your abdominal muscles for tabletop position, which of course you can do as you move on to the more advanced abdominal exercises that you would be doing on a mat or on a Cadillac table with a reformer, you know, springs or no springs. This is a great warm-up exercise for a lot of things, but it's also good abs work just because you really have to work to keep yourself stable. So that's another way in which foam rollers are great. They give you a greater range of motion than you would get just on a mat, but they also really, really challenge your stability. And that is why I recommend going with a slightly tougher or more firm foam roller, because they make it even harder for you. If they're soft, they kind of just squish into the ground, and it's not so hard to stay stable. So keep that in mind.